So this Israeli-Palestinian conflict is one that I'm usually happy to stay away from. But I'll give an opinion or some insight to whatever I think is going on there. First is this ridiculous footage. Missiles flying, missile defense systems countering it. That's a tough way for either side to live. But let's just look at the numbers because numbers don't lie. As far as body count, Israel is definitely up there, right? Because Gaza doesn't have a missile defense system or anti-air system to fight back with, and they knock out their missiles coming from Gaza. But when they hit back, and buildings are dropping, and children are dying, and that's really stupid on the part of Israel because what kind of press is that to have? Children, 9 children dead, this many children dead. And then Israel, arrogantly, you could call it, says, oh, yeah, Hamas, that's all militants, and so on and so forth. How did this conflict arise, right? Not from the beginning, but how did it arise now? Apparently, from what I hear, they were doing some evictions, Palestinian people being moved out of their homes that they were living in, being pushed out to make room for I guess as Israeli settlements has been the trend for some time now, and people don't want to have it, and I don't blame them. I put myself in the picture of being born somewhere in Palestine and then having to be moved, or my rights, or so on and so forth. Again, I'm not super knowledgeable on that. And now let's look at the other side of the coin, right? That's what we see on the Palestinian side of the coin. People have been living there, minding their own business for the most part. And now their lives are being, the quality of life is being decreased because of a new state. Now, as far as Israel and that territory is concerned, all land belongs to whoever conquers it. United States took the land from the Atlantic to the Pacific. Mexico had a piece of whatever it might be. That was taken. It was taken from the Native Americans. It was taken from the Mexicans. Is this, is that. Whoever has it owns it, sadly. Right? And, people have territorial disputes. Whoever holds it, holds it. You go to a war over it, and if you lose, you lose. If you could gain independence, you gain it. But, out of all, there's no country for Jewish people, and that is their ancestral home, all right, going, down for thousands of years. And they should have a place to lay their hat, but they should do it respectfully for the people that are there, and that's what they failed to do, in my opinion. They failed to do that, and now they have a bitter generational conflict. And, I'm half Jewish, half Muslim. And, I'm pretty sure there's a variety of opinions in my family in and of itself. But I'm not going to be 100% on the Jewish side or 100% on the Palestinian side on any of these things because, there's a conflict there. What they should have did is they should have found a way to live to each other, give the appropriate rights. And let's go back thousands of years to when Israel lost this territory completely. You're going back to the time of Herod the Great and the time of Jesus and the Roman occupation. Romans controlled the land, but they gave the Jews a Jewish king, and were just trying to collect taxes, which were, relative to slavery. Then Jesus came along, told them that all this is going to come to an unhappy end because the temple Pharisees were just exploiting the situation, exploiting the people, and things were very unfair. Judea was all in revolt. Vespasian and his son Titus came in, destroyed everything, destroyed Jerusalem. The people were displaced. They went all over the world. And from there on out, the state was destroyed. And Jerusalem was renamed Anatolia or something like that. And it was over. And then it, kind of came back as Jerusalem and other conquests. But ultimately, the Jewish people lost their territory because they didn't do what was right, in my opinion, right? If they followed, this is already high in the sky here, but if they followed the commandments of God and did everything the way they're supposed to, I think they would have held on to their land, but they didn't. And then they tried to get it back, and they did it by the sword, and they live by the sword, and that's where they're at now. Missiles flying in, they got an Iron Dome, they hit back, but the people should be aware that they are losing the public opinion. When you're bombing something and you have an Iron Dome and you're protecting it, so on and so speak, and then you hit back and children are dying and running through the streets, daddy, daddy, and on the stretcher, whatever it is, it doesn't look good. And it might look fine to people, as you know, I could hear the rebuttals over here on either side, right? You could hear the rebuttals on the Jewish, oh, this is a terrorist, that, and this is this, and this is that. I know most of them, I know enough of them, but hitting back like that after these missiles are fired, when you have this Iron Dome defense system, is very dangerous. And I think it's, this guy Netanyahu taking this hardline stance, and these evictions and the settlements, to keep the land that you have, find a way to make that work and build higher. Don't try to push people out of their homes and little by little make their lives worse and worse and expect them not to fight back. What are they going to do on this little strip of land? I don't know. And, I'll be quite completely frank. I mean, I had family in the Israeli Defense Force, and when we came to the United States as refugees, some of them went to Israel as refugees and lived there and tried to make a living there. It wasn't a very easy place to live. I don't know why they went there. But this particular piece of land and this history that's involved with the Jewish people, I don't really know what to tell you. I wish they found a peaceful way to work and work with the people there and find a peaceful way to live. And maybe if they follow the commandments of God, they would actually accomplish that. But in my opinion, they fell short of that, and they have this conflict. And it doesn't matter. I could disappear, turn to vapors right in front of you. The conflict will still go on, and over time, if this is the way they respond to the conflict, or running into a mosque or doing this and that, not going to end well, right? Not going to end well at all. So, if there was a piece of advice, you'd have to find some sort of reconciliation. But now the temperature's too high for that. After I slash you in the face, and you try to slash me in the face, and I try to come after you here and come after you there, what kind of reconciliation can we have? Really, right? You have your scars, I have my scars, I have more scars, you have less scars, I owe you 1, you owe me 10, I this and that. What kind of reconciliation can these people have in this type of environment to live? I don't think that there shouldn't be any Israel or any Jewish land at all. That's also not fair, right? There's no nation for the Jews to call their own, and they're trying to get a piece of their ancestral land. But you got to do it the right way. What happened 10,000 years ago, this is today, and people are living there. You have to find the right way to do it. And I'm sure there was a common ground to find. But, on the other hand, to the Israeli credit, people wanted to take that land away. They went to war and they lost. You lose. What can you do then? You know what I'm saying? If you fight for it and you lose, you fight for it and you lose. I own this business, Trax NYC, but for some reason, I fought for it in court and lost. What can I do then? Put a car bomb under some guy's car and do this and do that? I don't know. I don't quite know, and neither does anybody watching this. Of course, you could leave your opinion. I'm trying to find a common ground, and the leaders should sit down. This Netanyahu character wants to take a hard line, and that doesn't work. That's not going to work. That hard line of I'm going to bomb you into submission, these people are not going to get bombed into submission. And, so that's my opinion on the matter. To give you some final thought on it, there's only one thing to do. Find common ground, find a way to share the resources, and deal with the other human beings properly. But things have gotten bad to a certain point. I don't know if that's going to happen. And, in the future, Israel will lose, as it is losing ground more and more, a lot of public opinion on the matter. Because it doesn't look good when you're, okay, if you raided some militants, carefully in the middle of the night and on a helicopter and, killed the right people, so to speak, That'll be one thing. You're dropping a massive bomb on a small strip where people are living, and that's it, where they don't have any resources to fight back or do anything, and someone's firing rockets. It's very, very stupid. So you heard my opinion. If you could correct me, however you wish. And this is just, the way I see it, objectively, as best I can.